Well, good evening. Welcome to a very special broadcast of the News Minute. And I have with me a very special guest. His name is Neelakanta Banu Prakash, all of 20 years old, four-time world record holder, 50-time Limca record holder, and also in news presently for being the first Indian to win the gold at the Mind Sports Olympics. Let me begin by congratulating you, Banu. A
Thanks
great
a lot, Paul.
something that we are all very proud of, especially being the fact that you're from Hyderabad makes us all even more happier.
Thank
Uh,
you.
let's begin with, can you tell us, Manu, can you tell us about the feat? We understand that it's for the first time that an Indian or probably an Asian has brought home a gold from the Mind Sports Olympics. Can you tell us about this competition? How many levels, how many participants? We're eager to know about that.
Sure. So, again, firstly, a little bit of introduction by myself in terms of, let's say, putting it in layman term. I hold 4 world records and 50 Limca records, as Paul mentioned. And this is something which I broke in 2017. So, I was a world record holder and someone who broke Shakuntala Devi's and Scott Flansburgh's records in addition back then. But the Olympic gold medal at the Mind Sports Olympiad, Mental Calculation World Championship, which happens in London. This time, coincidentally, happens that it happened from wherever I was because it's an online task. One good thing about it is that I could eat a biryani and paneer 65 right after I won it. That's, I think, a good takeaway. But I would say
You sound like a
yes.
typical Hyderabadi.
Yeah, absolutely. And a bit of Kubani ka meeta as well. I mean, just so that everything fits in. I'd say that was a good thing to do because this time all of the event happened online and the streaming was on Twitch and YouTube. You can find it there. And the Calculation Championship invited 30 fastest human brains across the world. And this is not the first time I am actually taking part in such a competition. I took part in the Mental Calculation World Cup before I went on to break the records in 2014 and 2016, where I finished seventh and eighth respectively by representing India. And I was actually close to beating one of the records back then itself in the event. But yeah, I mean, rookie mistakes and being a kid sort of didn't let that fly. After coming back, I obviously did world records and stuff, but it was not at an event. So you understand why there is not like a lot of a buzz around it. I mean, I did it with the interaction with Limca or whatever. So this event has kids from students. I mean, they're not kids or students. Apologies. I think I'm just getting too much into my cycle of teaching people. But it's 30 individuals who are almost till the age of 55, who are the quickest brains in the world, representing 13 different countries, who come to this final invited because they have exceptional results in mental calculation, who compete by calculating and doing enormously huge calculations and high speed ones in competing with each other. And I finished with a gold medal by racing past a lot of people. And in fact, I won the gold medal with a margin of 65 points. And if I want to give you the perspective, I had 167 in the second place, I had 102 and 99 respectively. So that's the gap with which I've won. And I'd say that this establishes India's dominance on the global mental calculation era, which has been a win, but at an event, obviously, is a different thing.
So it is a great achievement. Like I said, we're all proud of you. A simple question I want to start off with. How did you know that you were good in maths? Like we've heard of child prodigies, of course, but right from the beginning, were you good? Like when I was a student, I took part in maths Olympiads. Was it like that with you? Or did your parents know right from the beginning that you're actually good in maths?
I personally don't believe that there is anyone who's gifted. And that's because I think that you develop skills which you think you need and the skills which you think which inspire you to do better. So, I started off as a regular school going kid. An accident rendered me bedridden for an entire year when I was 5. And in this year is when I picked up puzzles and mental calculation, which I eventually went on to use as a way to sort of get close to what I existentially am. And for me, it has always been a sport. Was it a sport? Is because mental calculation is as good as running is or any other Olympic event. In fact, the closest which I would compare it with is probably a decathlon or a triathlon because mere running is different from running and swimming and doing cycling and mountaineering at the same time. And that's what mental calculators who do addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, square roots, cube roots, powers, and approximations at the same time work and function. How do you tick? How do we do? Is I think not only of aesthetic value, but also very much interesting in terms of how this changes the way in which we look at the world. And I mean, for me, as I think I'm not sure if the people who are watching this have heard of Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky talks about one of the biggest leading linguists in the world. Talks about how language phrases the way in which you understand the world around you. And in specifics, I would say that, I mean, Piaget's theory and a couple of other things say that the way in which you learn numbers and maths make you look at certain things in life very differently than the people who do not. And I would say that strongly applies to my case because quantitative angles of stuff just not only inspires me to do calculations, but has made me excel in business, has made me excel in performance, has made me a good, better speaker and a structured writer.
I was just going to ask you that because now you're the world's fastest calculator. And I'm sure a lot of people have this doubt about how does it actually help you being faster than a machine? Because I'm sure a lot of people ask you this. You have a calculator, you have a computer.
Absolutely perfect question, Paul. So 2016 to 2019, why did Bhanu Prakash not participate in world events? It's because this was the time when Bhanu was, I mean, me as an individual was conducting experiments on myself to understand what was happening on the inside and how this can be translated into learning outcomes for people. The reason is that at the end of the day, math is a tool, and that's what our math education has told us until now. We have never told ourselves that this is a skill which we require all the time. We were told that it's a tool, and that's why we asked the question on why can't we use a calculator instead? And this is as equivalent to talking about and saying this to an athlete who runs, probably Bhag Milka Bhag, and say, Milka, why do you run? Do you not have money to buy a car? Why did you run all the while? So I mean, it's as equivalent to this because I mean, do sprinters sprint because they don't have access to vehicles which can locomote them quickly? That's not true. Do singers sing because do singers stop singing because they think that the songs have already been covered, so there's no reason why I sing this song again? No, because we believe that doing this is a skill, and the skill translates into other life understandings. And
to a lot of other areas, you're saying.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, if you start running, if you start using a car for your entire life and you don't walk, what happens? You become a sedentary creature who would not be fit enough to do things of their own. Similarly, if you don't use your brain enough to do computations, which I think human brain has been naturally designed for, we have been designed for it. And if we stop doing it is when we realize that maybe we are losing out on certain senses which we already have and already have historically had. And this is something which have been proven by a couple of research studies. Exploring Infinity is my firm and I conducted, is that the level of approximations of, let's say, two bundles, if I give a kid and an adult two bundles of, let's say, dots and show that there is 25 dots in this and there is 26 dots in this of two different colors, an average adult approximates things to be equal. A younger individual child does understand that this is more than this. So our ability to approximate also dips. That's because our cognition has never been done this way. And this is the reason why we have sort of made these passive, I mean, the cognitive abilities which I'm talking about, the ability to working memory, the ability to parallel tasks, the ability to do a lot of other stuff. So, I mean, for me, arithmetic is an exercise. It's the pull-ups and push-ups to train your brain. And while it does not make any physical sense to run on a treadmill for 25 minutes, it does make you strong. So I think that's my takeaway for it.
So a word for our viewers, if you have any questions that you want me to ask, please leave a comment in the box below and we will pick up that question for you to Bhanu. Bhanu, let me quickly move on to the next question. In school, can you tell us about your schooling? Because you said you don't believe in child prodigies. How much of an impact did your school have? And also, have you gone through any of these other coachings like Abacus, Fast Quick Learning, anything like that you've gone through?
Sure. So I have taken part in, I was in Bharati Vidya Bhavans, Jubilee Hills, Hyderabad, very famous school, guys. So in this school, I would not call myself a child prodigy. The reason is that prodigy and prodigious people are people who are naturally gifted in its sense. And prodigy talks about a state which is attained by existing. Do you understand? So I don't personally believe in this because my skill is not that. I mean, mine is an incremental growth from being nothing to this. And I know that this is as weird as it may sound. I have been hand walking people in this journey of becoming aware of doing calculations, and even for that matter, competing significantly in global competitions right now. I mean, I would not
Just interrupt you there. Where did your journey start? If you said it's not from the beginning, how old were you when you actually started?
So I was someone who's interested in a lot of things. Let's say I was a curious kid, and at 5 I met with an accident which changed my life, got me bedridden as I mentioned, and I started off by doing calculations and arithmetic and puzzles at this time, and competitively. I joined an Abacus course, SIP Academy. Everyone would have heard. It's everywhere in Hyderabad, if you see, or anywhere around the country. So SIP Academy is something which I joined, and I started learning what methods and what competitiveness could do to doing significantly better. Like today, I don't use Abacus as a way in which I do my calculations, but I would say it definitely does help in a certain visualization methods when the objective is to solve questions, which I do understand is important, but the journey of solving the question is more important. And that can be attained in multiple paths. It's multiple paths to the common ground of being up. And Abacus, as I say, is something which I definitely would say has had a significant impact. I've done various other things. I've done Vedic math, I've done Greek conjunctures, I've done X, I've done Y, I've done Z. But I personally feel all of these, to a certain capacity, don't test your cognitive abilities. At least definitely not Vedic math. Reason being, Vedic math is a good tool solver. It's a problem solver. It helps you in your CATs. It helps you in your SATs and CATs. It helps you in your GREs and GMATs, definitely, or your IIT exams. But that's pretty much about it. Because I mean, I can actually tell you that there are 100 ways to sort of do quick questions and stuff. But I'll tell you how this makes sense. I mean, I'll tell you just an analogy, and I think I'll pass it to you, Paul, again. Is when you're supposed to, let's say, if I'm here, okay, I'm here. My course of running is from here all the way and come back here. All right. If I just take another route and come from here to here, does that mean I've sprint all the way? No. So does that make me someone quicker? No. It just makes me someone who reached the destination. So reaching the destination, as I said, is not as important.
We have an audience question which says, can you ask him some math questions? So I'm going to do exactly that. Let me quickly ask you one. I'm going to ask you a multiplication, Banu.
Sure, go ahead.
So you can note down this: 987654321
Okay.
into 5.
That should be easy. That should be 4938271650. 16050. Yeah.
That is, if I can show you this, 4.
Absolutely. 4938271650. Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. One more quick one. 9234 into 1712.
Okay, this will take a little bit of time because it has to. I don't think you should not show the answer yet. 9,234 multiplied by 1,712. That'll be 15 million. And okay, let's go ahead and see 808,608. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm not going to ask you too many questions. I know throughout the day media have been troubling you with a lot of math questions, so that's one for our viewers.
Also, I think Paul, maybe I think one thing which you could fling at is probably, Paul, I think maybe what we could do is probably send me or show me a number. Show me a number. Just type in the largest number which you can on your calculator. Just show me the number. I mean, just show it to me so that you don't have to narrate it out loud, and I think everyone would see it anyway. Yeah. Can you tell me a single-digit number which you want me to divide this by? Any single-digit number.
Divide by 3.
Okay. So, okay, I'm going to tell you the answer, and I think people can take a note of it. The answer is 19. No, you have to show me that because I think I'm not. Yeah. The answer would be 199550718. I think you should move it a little bit. 025. That's 028.333333. Yeah. So.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Divide by
3.
And can you repeat the answer?
That's. I mean, I don't really remember. So I mean, I have to like sort of So
it is like 19955071828.
0.333. Yeah. 0.3333333. I mean, as many as it gets.
I'm not even questioning that.
Yeah.
Great, Banu. Really interesting to see that. Banu, coming back to the question, you're being compared to, like you said, Shakuntala Devi. A lot of people are putting out promos saying Shakuntala Devi 2.0, and also several other names like Scott Flansburgh. How does it feel suddenly? You're all of 20, and at such a young age, you're being compared to maths masters or even stalwarts.
Okay, one personal thing which I would want to say is that, I mean, again, courtesy, guys, is that one thing which I actually go on air telling people is that Shakuntala Devi had bunch of records, just like how I do. And there are a couple of records which are of hers which still stay. And that's something which I wanted to acknowledge people. It's not like someone, see, at the end of the day, it's not like you dominate someone. I mean, you can't have Michael Phelps run Usain Bolt out, right? I mean, while there can be mutual intersections, I do agree. So I broke a record which was once held by Scott Flansburgh, which was previously held by Shakuntala Devi, and a couple of other records which were held by extremely different people from Germany. And I think people, Gert Mittring, if you've heard, I mean, a lot of other people whom we do not really hear of. And at the end of the day, the fastest human calculators, if you see right before, I think, me happened, and funny enough, I broke my records 2-3 years ago, but the tag of the fastest human calculator has been trending now. Hashtag fastest human calculator. I think that's what every post goes by, and at the rate fastest human calculator on Insta, Facebook, whatever. And it's good to see that. Reason being that I would say that Mr. Scott Flansburgh, I met him. I've talked to him. I broke my record in front of him also at once before I formally did it. And he was quite impressed. He was like, this is fantastic. Maybe you should do it then. And Shakuntala Devi, I was not fortunate enough to meet her at any point of time. But I see that the tag is beautiful, and the tag also calls for a lot of responsibility. That because the human calculators of yesterday did their job in making people understand what it is. Now the job is to demystify that what it isn't, and tell people that this is a skill which you might actually need, even if you're an artist. This is a skill which you might want to have, even if you are an economist, because this does not only call for being quick in maths and using it in an academic exam, but talks about general brain exploration, cognitive ability development. And that's what my firm, Exploring Infinity, majorly does. Cognitive ability development through arithmetic. Yeah.
We have a question from the audience. It has two parts. One is, do you like being called a human computer? And the second part is, does it get annoying when people keep giving you math problems wherever you go?
I'll answer both of them. Human computer is annoying. Reason is, I'll tell you what is wrong with the tag of a human computer. No one is a human computer. And I think I'm sure if social media was around the time when Shakuntala Devi was around, she would have said the same thing, because a computer does a lot more tasks. And a computer stores data. I mean, human beings are good optimizers at the end of the day. Like, what's in this brain cannot be replicated by any computer which there is. So I think to a certain extent, I would say that while it is a very prestigious name to have, it is also like people expect you to be quick at puzzles, which is not quite true. I mean, it's as simple as saying Sachin Tendulkar was one of my biggest inspirations, and PVS Lakshman from Hyderabad, obviously, just telling them that, hey, you are the best cricketers there is. Do you think you can beat me in badminton? So it's not the same. While the skill set might have mutual intersections, and one might actually use badminton as a way to prepare for cricket also, the sport is specific. And that's the reason why it is sport. It's as good as saying you give Magnus Carlsen or Vishwanathan Anand the math question and you expect them to do quickly, because both of them are mental sports. Vishwanathan Anand will probably say, hey, bye, because he'll be like, I mean, my chess is not related to that. While I can be a very good estimator on what my next steps are. So appreciating this for what it is something which is important. And being called the human computer all sort of deviates from what this is, because people expect you to be good in memory. And I think that also comes from, let's say, from a show like this. Let's say some people will like, what is 77635 into 87634, without actually that being in front of me. And that is not how a calculator works, because a calculator, a human calculator, does not specialize in memory. He or she does not sort of be like, I'm going to remember these numbers, multiply, and then tell you the answer. But that's a computer way of doing it. So that's one. The other one, friends and people around me asking me questions all the time, being annoying. Absolutely. Why not? So Do you? See, it's fun till a point, but after a point, it's just like, uh, I'm actually eating right now. Do we really? And this gets annoying even more when you go out with people, right? And then there's the sudden bill, and they're like, Bhanu, check. I'm like, this is not what I am made for. Okay, I mean, I understand that this is the case, but no, I'm not going to do this because it's just weird. So
But it would be great to have a friend like you in the group that we have.
no, it's good to a very good point. It's a very good thing to have. And in fact, I actually deliberately give extremely wrong answers because people stop bothering me with it. And actually, in fact, my a lot of friends are like, Bhanu, how are you the fastest human calculator? Because you have just told me this 2 decimals. And I'm like, I would have actually told you 1 decimal wrong also. Because I, at this point of time, I'm not in the mood. It's like you tell a cricketer to keep defense dikhao, bhai, defense dikhao. Kyun dikhayenge? It's not, yeah.
Okay, let me come to a very human aspect of this victory. You've been receiving a lot of appreciation from all around, a lot of media channels at your place, and also the vice president spoke about it. A lot of people tweeting, including home ministers. MOS Home from Hyderabad himself tweeted. A lot of people. How has the response been? How grounded are you despite a lot of appreciation coming
Okay, what did you mention in the end? Who from Hyderabad tweeted?
up? MOS G Kishan Reddy.
Oh yeah, MOS from Hyderabad. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was like, did I miss someone? But anyway, so I personally don't think that this will get to my head. Reason being that I was the fastest human calculator for a while. It's not that I got my title today, right? So I mean, today is just the appreciation, which is good. I am enjoying it. I'm doing my bit in sort of sinking it in, sort of getting my mental images. That's something which I do every time I think that I want to remember this moment. I step back and say, okay, now remember this moment. And when you do that, it's a very good brain exercise to have. And I think probably everyone who goes back from this should try it. It's a good mental exercise. Will eventually lead you to cognitive ability development. And I'll not stop branding it enough.
I want to freeze this moment in time, so I'm just going to sit back.
And look, and then you observe what you have not been observing for a while around. So observation, I think a lot of people say that doing calculations, does this make you be a little away from the world? I'm like, this makes me be more in the world than what everyone is because I observe, I take inputs and give outputs much more efficiently than a lot of other people. So keeping grounded, I would say that my family does not let me get things to my head anyway. So I mean for us in the house it doesn't really matter. I mean whatever we say outside, in the house it's just two people and then just a set of people, my family, my mom, dad, the granddad, sister, me, and my lovely little dog called Ruby. That's our happy family. And I think we celebrate also in such ways, in rather very Hyderabadi ways. And I'd say that keeping things grounded is possible only when sort of see, the title is something which I've earned, sure, but it's just a lot of responsibility and a lot more things to do. So if this is a moment where I actually take pride in myself a little more than what I should, and this is something which I've believed since day one, is that the moment you're content with what you have is the moment you stop learning. So I like having the discomfort inside me to a certain level, and that keeps me driving. And yeah.
Two more questions before I let you go, Banu. One is about how important is it to have a guide or teacher to actually take you along through this journey? And do you have anyone like that who deserves appreciation?
Absolutely. There have been several people. See, I mean, I might be the fastest or whatever, but there have been several mentors across the way. SIP Academy and the people who have engaged with me there, multiple people who have tracked my progress and looked at, acha, ye kar raha hai, to ye karna hai. So that sort of a thing was exceptional. Names, Shobha ma'am, there is Rajeshwari ma'am, there are a couple of people whom I would want to take names of. In the journey, in otherwise, school-wise, there were people like Bhavans. There are a lot of every single teacher in Bhavans was extremely helpful, not only in terms of, let's say, encouraging me to do something, but also like not holding something against me because I was not doing a lot of other things which a regular school is expected to do, like my classwork or like my assignments. I mean, I never did them. And progressively, I'd say my Stephens teachers have been extremely supportive since Stephens College. And I think I would specially quote one person whose name is Raji Reddy. He's no more, and he's from Warangal. So he is someone whom I met digitally, post me breaking a few records which I already have, like 7 or 8 of them. And when I was going for the World Cups and stuff like that, I met him. I came across him as someone who's been working around the Vedic math sector. While I don't endorse those methods, nor did I use them, It's just that the amount of sheer determination he as a person put into, let's say, even getting me better by saying that this is the next contest. So at the end of the day, it's about this trainer who, it's something very similar to physical feats, right? So let's say I want to get better at my cricket practice. So do I have to do cardio tomorrow? Do I have to run? Do I have to practice this? What do I do in my nets? Do I take bounces or do I take Yorkers? So this strategy has to be figured out by someone. And by being in a field which there is no one really unprecedented before me, I think the guidance which I've received from him is exceptional. And, and yeah, I'll call out for him. I mean, I'm sure he would be happy. Yeah.
It's good that you got to appreciate a lot of your teachers as well. Moving on, one last question about your startup, Exploring Infinities. Can you tell us a little bit about it? And also, how do you plan to use your talent for the people around? I heard you're doing some things for the government school kids as well. A quick point about that.
So I personally believe that I think I'm done achieving for a certain extent. Like at least until, let's say, I want to do it back again in terms of this. I think I'm content with what I've achieved in terms of laurels and accolades. But I think what lies ahead is a much bigger task, which is to inspire a generation of people and tell them that math is not hard, math is not difficult, math is fun. And I've learned maths the right way by experiencing it firsthand, by interacting with my surroundings, just like how someone who learns language does. And I personally think that this journey can be replicated across every individual. And this can be a route to eradicate math phobia across the country and the world. This, I'll tell you why. I have always looked up to people who were personas to understand and be inspired. And in that sense, mathematicians are exceptionally good role models. But for a person who's math phobic, I think the most interesting thing would not be a math researcher, but someone who performs and tells them that I know how I can do this and I'll help you this. While this might be something which people call a party gimmick, this might be something which people call this. I say that arithmetic is the first wave which hits you in the ocean of math, and it scares you. Once you enter in it, you're in a free space of open roaming and solace and happiness. But I'd say that I want to be that enabler. I want to be the face of math phobia of the country and the world. And it'll not be wrong if I say that what I aspire to be is what I call a mathematics education activist, and to sort of talk about this more often, keep the conversation going, and make people know that their understanding and hatred towards mathematics is genuine because of their experience. And this can also be bridged through an experience which I can deliver through, let's say, my startup, through an experiential learning games which we are trying to raise funds for, or through the government school projects which we have had, Project Arithmetic Literacy, Project Math in Lockdown, where we have provided 300 to 400 hours of mathematical learning to TSAT and the government. And I, for once, do really, really, really believe that this is the right time. I would not say, see, I was not funded for a lot of my competitions which I went outside. And I don't take it as something which I'm angry about or sad about, because I mean, I understand capitalism. I understand how the world works. And why would anyone sort of fund something which you don't know what the result is, and it's not a popular culture? But now it is. I mean, I've showcased you that the buzz is real, and the buzz can be a thing. And probably sometime later tonight, I'm not sure if I'm able to do it, but at the rate fastest human calculator on Instagram is probably going to do a record breaking while listening to a song.
I hope
And
so too.
yeah, and that is the conversation which I think I would want to drive as a global movement, saying math is fun. And what is wrong? And I mean, first thing is to empathize. So right, that's what every mental health initiative does. That's what every physical fitness initiative does. It's accepting that this exists. It's not like, hey, pado, because that's the only solution we have had until now. The solution is to empathize, because this is much more of a social problem than it's just a pedagogical problem. And I am here with a lot of social experience, 23 countries, more than 10,000 kids, and a gold medal, an icing on the cake, yes. And I'm here to say that with the government support, which I think will be coming, I've gotten VPs, I've gotten a recognition and a call from the president very recently, like not call, but then an information from his office saying that they look up to it. I'll say that this is great. My fame is all right. I think I'm quite sorted. I'm happy with what I have. I think the more important part is that the government and the state, center, and everything else sort of walks up to this and says that there is someone who can help us with this in this country, because I'm going to do it here or anywhere else and everywhere else. And if things come from the other way,
gives you that platform, you would like to work with them?
Paul,
Yeah, so I said whoever gives you that platform, you are ready to work with them.
Absolutely, because I think the experience is only something which you can give to everyone in the world, and this is possible. And I'm actually hopeful that the Indian, because see, we've moved one step at a time. Hyderabad has been a prime center for understanding global trends. Like we've had an incubator when incubators in India were not a big deal. We're having the first Maker Faire tea works coming in. We have extensively invested into a gold medal which came a long time ago. I mean, from which eventually we have gotten a lot more gold medals and rewards, whom also we accoladed in standards which the globe has never seen. So I'd say that considering all of this and considering our management, we have been historically great. It's just that if we do this to maths today, we actually are putting it up there with badminton and say that this is what we do. And that can be through them talking to me, that can be through them talking to me via putting up an academy. And that's something which we envision. I envision an academy in math which brings world talent here and make this the center of mathematical excellence. And tomorrow, the next generation mathematicians are from here, are from the government schools, are from the corporate schools, right here from Hyderabad.
I think the seeds that will be sowed now will reap great benefits.
Yes.
Let's just hope that. And it's amazing how at 20, the kind of clarity you have, Banu, really impressive. Because at 20, all I knew was which movie I need to watch and what food.
No, I do that too. That's what I'm saying, Paul. So, I mean, I have a clarity on what I want to watch tonight. I'm watching Parks and Recreation on Amazon Prime.
Good that the world now knows that Banu also has a very fun side to him. It's not only the math, but also a very fun side. Anyway, Banu, on that note, let's end this interview. Thank you so much for your time. Wishing you the best. Many more world
My pleasure.
More achievements so that I can have you back on the News Minute interviewing you again the next time. That's it from us.
Absolutely, Paul. See you. Bye-bye.